What up, guys? So today, here we are again with the balanced power fist. I am taking it into lethal, and I knew the fact that I was able to get the gun strikes and the parrying down with the power fist. I kind of felt really good against Tyranids. So, of course, this is the setup I have for Assault. I do have like a melee setup, but I also have some extra damage for my secondary just to help my overall DPS. And this is Termination. I jumped right into this lethal operation. They were fighting the Neurothrope, and the Tactical and the Vanguard are down right now. I was seriously considering packing it up right here, but the thought occurred to me, hey, well, this is the Neurothrope. This is the terminus enemy of the lethal map. If we can get it done right here, there's actually a pretty good shot that we can complete this operation. A Neurothrope's really not that bad of a spawn for a terminus enemy for the Tyranid missions. I just think, it could have been a Carnifex, and that would have been that would have been rough. And we were able to take down this Neurothrope. I mean, we had the Tactical here. The Tactical was able to get the scan. I can just get the slam right here to stop this from happening, right? And the damage for that was pretty good. So hey, this was actually a pretty good start for a lethal operation. There are the team perks. Inner Fire is probably the noteworthy team perk here, because Inner Fire is very, very good. Now, I've gotten some practice with the Power Fist, and I really think the Ground Slam for it is just a very good opener. But that said, I do have some parrying practice with the balanced Power Fist, so the gun strikes were also a major part of the DPS, especially against Tyranids because of how often they attack, how often they have parryable attacks as well, of course. And yes, the Vanguard does have the Melta. I think he used a Guardian Relic there, which is pretty wild, because he does get his full health back because of the Melta shot. And this Lictor was just jumping all over the place. I was really considering going down to help our Tactical, but then the Ravener jumped up here anyway, so I figured, okay, we can probably just get these two extremists out of the way and then go help the Tactical. But the Tactical left. So the Tactical left. We have a bot who was down, but we still have Inner Fire, so that's good. I'm genuinely confused on why this Tactical left. Recon's really good, so I was a little bit worried about that, to be completely honest. But the way we handled that extremus situation was pretty good, to be honest. And considering that we do have the Terminus enemy down for this map, I mean, we obviously have to fight the biotitan. There's a nice charge attack right there. That was right after a big slam. Obviously, this is an Artificer Power Fist in lethal. A slam charge attack is not going to take down an enraged major warrior, basically. But the charge attack is still doing some pretty nice damage, and then you can get the stun. But yes, that's a gun strike. That's a good dodge after a grenade. Right here, big slam. So I have the grenade. I got the gun strike. It's respectable damage. So some people asked me in the chat why I like using the ability cooldown perk instead of the perk that gets you cooldown for killing miners. Now, this is one of the reasons, because I'm not too worried about minorists and getting swarmed by them. I'm worried about getting swarmed by majors and extremists. So, in these situations where all the minorist enemies are gone, I need ability cooldown. And, luckily I do have a teammate here to back me up. But it's really just for sweaty situations. I know the other perk is likely better. Also, by the way, that's a double gun strike parry. That was insanely well timed. Definitely wanted to show that off twice. Incredible. But yeah, I know the other perk, like in this situation, is probably better, where you can just repeatedly get your ground slams because you keep killing the minor enemies there. But in the sweatier situations, it's not the small enemies that are bothering me. It's, not getting my cooldown ready when I'm surrounded by major enemies. And Spore Mines also are terrible. They are a terrible enemy. I'm pretty sure it was Spore Mines that did me in for my health bar there, which was insane. So now I'm here fighting with a Guardian Relic. I have 1 health. I have an Artificer Power Fist on Termination Lethal, but Ground Slam still gets the job done. And yeah, I'll likely try out the other perk as well. I know it's a good perk. I've seen it work before. It's definitely strong. Like right here, for example, you can just Ground Slam against the Minorous enemies, get your cooldown back, and get another Ground Slam going. But sometimes I just like to have a little extra cooldown in situations where, like, that's not available. It's just, yeah, most of the time you're able to take out smaller enemies to get your cooldown back. But regardless, having your jump pack cooldown, you know, lowered, or however it works, right? It's cooldown lowered. But still, regardless, having some jump pack cooldown support is definitely strong with the Power Fist. It's, I would say it's probably, you know, obviously necessary to keep, you know, the Power Fist from competing with the damage. And there is a major on this step right here, which this is kind of awkward. I'm trying to wait for him to parry so I can get the gun strike, which I do manage to get. There's a team perks now that we have had a heavy join us, which is really nice. That is an enraged enemy. If you hit me there, I go down. So now I'm trying to look for the parry. I get it, but there's also the zoanthrope that I miss and I jump right into that beam. It was rough, so I do use the Guardian Relic here. Even though my teammate probably could have picked me up, I kind of wanted to use the Guardian Relic to get my health back as well. And then my teammate goes down here. So it's time to make a big play. Definitely had to pick up the heavy. There's no shot we're going to take down these zoanthropes without the heavy. Not with the... I've been meaning to switch back to the heavy bolt pistol now that I have the bolt pistol leveled up, but I keep forgetting. And then here's also a Ravener. This is lethal. This is lethal. This is a tough situation. But the gun strike pulls through. That extra gun strike damage is great for lethal. And I wasn't too worried about this major. What I didn't see coming was that green ball staggering me and completely taking me out of this fight. Luckily, my teammates take down the zoanthropes. I am so mad looking at that. That was so, like, just bad luck. I didn't even think the zoanthropes would have been able to hit me around that corner unless it was the beam attack. It was rough. I definitely had that Ravener and that Enraged Majoress lined up. It was rough. It was rough. I definitely had some bad luck on that last fight, but hey, it's lethal. You have to be prepared for the times where fights go wrong. You have to, you know, bounce back. And here we have 2 extremists. I do manage to get this Ravener. And here's a big res to help my team. You know, basically my teammates, they picked me up, I picked them up. Then yeah, we're good. And then we can keep the lethal operation going. That is another extremist on the belt for this operation. And let's be honest. Termination is a pretty hard lethal operation. The thing is, parrying and gun strikes are very strong. So it does help out this weapon that, this weapon, it is unbalanced. It does help this weapon out that I can, get some big gun strikes on it. I still like those charge punches. That was rough. See, right here I have no armor, but I am able to catch that Minorous enemy right there. This is a weird situation. Like, this is the situation where I need that ground slam perk to take out the Minorous and then get my cooldown back. This is definitely that situation, right? But yes, the heavy goes down here. The heavy goes down. The Vanguard is still up. And I'm not getting any good RNG with these swings. I do manage to get a parry right there. But yeah, I was waiting for this whip attack the entire time, and he was just not doing it. But I do manage to get the parry. Dude, the assault class is actually really strong against Tyranids because of how strong gun strikes are on this class. That team perk is just extra necessary, I feel like, for lethal. And we've managed to get to the Bio-Tyrant. We managed to get to the final boss of the operation. This is a good run. This is a good run. I am definitely the melee class for my team, I think. I think the Vanguard was using the Melta, and then obviously the Heavy's not a melee class. I do start off with the pistol here to get some nice damage on the biotitan right there. And okay, so this is basically my third real Power Fist video of taking the Power Fist seriously. And I gotta say, I enjoy the weapon. I think the weapon is fun. Obviously, do I think it needs some buffs? Yes. Yes. And honestly, any sort of buff would put the weapon in a good spot. Anything, if it's attack speed or attack damage, or even buff the charge attacks, which I think is the real buff you should have. The charge attacks on the weapon should definitely get a huge damage buff. It was just awkward. Also, why did I not dodge that? That was so rough. I think I was looking for the lictor that is tormenting me here. It would have been nice if my teammates kind of helped me out with this guy. He had me on a weird loop after getting sniped. It, you know, definitely kind of discombobulated me. I went for a greedy parry right there. And honestly, dude, right there, I was just a little late on that one parry, but I was still able to protect myself a little bit. And dude, I do believe I have the pistol. That was crazy. I don't know how. The lictor really just jumped up right behind me and you know, definitely hit me with a heart attack. And yeah, so finally I was able to get that lictor off of me. That was rough. That was a moment of basically how tough it can be if you miss a parry using the Power Fist. And honestly, I don't want to say the Power Fist was only here just to parry things. It wasn't. I was definitely getting some nice ground slams and some punches with it. It's still, in lethal against Tyranids, it's just, there's too many moments where the gun strike is like absolutely necessary to get your armor back and to stack up some good damage. Here, I have a teammate who's down, and the acid is keeping me from getting the res, which was super annoying. This was definitely annoying, but I was definitely able to get the res here. This was a pretty chaotic, lethal operation, I gotta say. There's a lot of resing, but it's still nice. That was an unnecessary shock grenade. I don't know what I was thinking with that, but whatever. But yes, the Power Fist ground slams I find very fun. Ground slam in general is just good. Ground slam into a parry gun strike is where it's at. And here's the Power Fist competing at lethal, which is just, you know, a lot of people say the Power Fist is bad, and I've said earlier I do think it needs a buff. But the Assault class can just make it work. The Assault class is a great melee class, and I think the Gun Strike perk is necessary for lethal regardless. Like, if you're not bringing it for Tyranids, are you not bringing it for Chaos? Also, like, it doesn't make sense. When you are fighting Chaos, you definitely want the Gun Strike perk. When you're fighting Tyranids, you probably want the Gun Strike perk. I know the ability team perk is pretty good as well, but I felt confident in the cooldown, and I didn't 100% need the team ability perk. I felt like using the balanced Power Fist, you know, there's definitely a benefit to the Gun Strikes. And Assault is a really good class. It just has an awkward matchup against Chaos, because I feel like, you know, Chaos obviously has not enough melee attacks. Even though the Disc Shamans, honestly, once you get their movements down, the Assault can probably get some big gun strikes against them. But going for melee against Chaos can be awkward because of the teleportation as well. And yeah, right there, Enraged Major, taken down. This was a good lethal run. I had some good teammates. We started a little bit, you know, we started kind of behind because I had two teammates with a mortal wound. And we did manage to take out the Terminus pretty early though. So, I don't know, it kind of, you know, it kind of started off pretty sweaty basically. Luckily, we were able to get these Zoanthropes down without a problem. And yeah, we had a good team here. We definitely had a good team here. Now we are kind of getting attacked by the acid right here, which is rough, but we did manage to take out the Biotitan. This was a good run with the Artificer Power Fist in lethal. There was a lot of gun strikes. There was a lot of big slams, but I think it's more to just showcase how strong the Assault class can be. To bring in a bad melee weapon and take it through lethal. I mean, I took out 7 special enemies. That was a good run. That was a good run. Obviously, you know, I had like over 10k damage. My teammates did really did well as also, so it was a good run. It was a good run. And now I have a relic power fist. Yay.